Hello and welcome to this look at the SubscriptionX 2024 report. This session will review the 34-page report, take some of the charts and key findings, but there will be a link on the final slide to enable you to download it in full. This webinar session looks to go a little bit further than the report, which was published in the spring. So in a similar fashion to our recent think tank during RetailX Events Autumn Festival, we'll provide an update on the report and a deeper look at the evolving ecosystem of retail subscriptions. Before we delve into the slides, I'm Katie Searles, editor of Internet Retailing, and it is part of my role and a pleasure to chair the SubscriptionX events annually. I'm also the host of the Subscription podcast, so hopefully I've learned a few things along the way. I'm delighted today to be joined by a sponsor of the event and a panelist from our October session, Lucy Sharma of Adyen. Really easy question to start, Lucy. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Adyen?
Yeah, so Adyen it was primarily a payments company. We were founded to revolutionize the way that the industry looks at payments. So we're a single platform that hasn't grown through acquisition, that does everything gateway, acquiring, risk. So basically the full end-to-end flow of your payment so that you don't have to work with multiple different providers, so that you don't get broken up data, and basically to make sure that you get the most successful payments that you can. We all know that subscription merchants spend a long time and a lot of investment acquiring new customers. And I think if they're then getting to the payments page and they can't pay, is that final hurdle that you just shouldn't be failing on. So that's really where we focus. And I sit within our UK team as head of our digital new business team.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lucy. And of course, payment's going to be so critical when subscriptions evolve around recurring memberships and recurring revenue. Consumers have embraced that with vigour, whether it's for necessities or little indulgences, and the subscriptions arrive, whether it's monthly or quarterly, in neatly packaged, often beautiful boxes. The consumers are really excited about this subscription offering, but there is a little bit of a generational split, and a consumer research that was used for this report unsurprisingly shows that those maybe with lower tech literacy, so older groups, boomers, so between the ages of 60 and 78, are less likely to pay for subscriptions. Only 4 in 10 do so. Then we come to those younger groups, 44 to 49 or Generation X. They are sitting at 56%, and 64% of millennials have signed up for a subscription. You can see the young kids, the 12 to 27-year-olds or Gen Z, are also looking for a share of this market. Lucy, for these young consumers, is the ability to use Google, Apple Pay, other quick checkout technologies going to be key to driving that successful subscription membership?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think when you look at this, the key takeaway is that this data isn't necessarily surprising, but it's then how are you servicing the millennials, the Generation Z, and making sure that they can check out in the way that they want to. I don't know the last time that I logged onto my computer to sign up to a subscription. I do it on the go. I do it from my phone. And if Apple Pay or Google Pay isn't there, I'm on the bus. I might not have my card with me. I use Apple Pay to tap into the bus, tap into the tube. I probably won't sign up at that moment. And I think getting these people to sign up when they're thinking about it, when they're in that mood to sign up and to pay, is absolutely key. If you leave it until they go home and they get their physical card, and maybe they have to type in a full card number and all of that kind of stuff, we know from like marketing statistics and things like that, sometimes people will only be thinking about their purchase for 2 minutes. If they can't do it, they'll move on. They'll think about something else and you've lost them. So I think Apple Pay, Google Pay, quick checkout options are really, really key for subscription merchants to have. And even to think going beyond that, when you look at your checkout, are you also missing out on big sections of subscribers because of other payment methods that you might not be offering. So, for example, we've worked with subscription sort of delivery companies or beauty box companies, and in student areas, they've enabled things like WeChat Pay to tap into the international student market who wouldn't know about their service or wouldn't have signed up if they didn't have WeChat Pay or China Union Pay on their checkout. So I think it's really, really key to use this data to work out how you're appealing to those generations.
It's really interesting about the complexity you're describing there, and Specsavers were very truthful on the podcast. Actually, they currently are working to add that Google Pay and that other fast payments to make sure that it's as easy as possible. And it's also unsurprising that most of retailers are offering monthly payments, 74%. There is a smaller group, 23%, that are offering a yearly payment, and just 3% that one-off payment. It's no surprise to anybody here that none of the retailers are offering daily or weekly payment options. Recurring revenue is of course going to be a perk for the retailer offering a subscription, and many, as you've already touched on, Lucy, have worked so hard to acquire new customers. There's now a real focus on keeping those customers and limiting cancellations or churn. But how can retailers and subscription firms tackle involuntary churn?
Yeah, I think involuntary churn is a key statistic that as a subscription provider, you should really be on top of. So these are the people that want to stay using your service and would have stayed using your service if, say, their payment had gone through. And I think the only way to really identify your involuntary churn is to look at your decline reasons that you're getting on your payments. So look at that payment data, make sure that you're working with a payments provider that is analyzing that data on an ongoing basis, and then working out some smart things that you can do to address the declines that you're getting. So to give you a bit of an example with a big subscription merchant that we work with, we really did some analysis into their expired cards, declines that they're getting, because basically people want to stay with them and just their card has expired. And in those scenarios, subscription merchants should be using tooling like network tokens or account updater, and not the traditional batch account updater. Make sure that you're using a real-time account updater so that you can capture that transaction without bothering your customer, and just update the card and take the payment there and then. And it's really, really key to be on top of that data and making sure that you're doing that, because as we talked about before, if someone's monthly payment declines, how likely are they in 2 weeks' time, or when you email them or when you phone them, to go in, update their details, put in their new card? It just means that you get this involuntary churn and lose customers that actually do want to stay using your product. And I think looking at the market, you can really see some key players that have got this just completely nailed. So Spotify, I don't know when you guys last updated your card on Spotify. I've been with them for years. I've had, I think, 5 different cards, mostly because of expiry, not because they're lost, but they just get updated in the back end and my subscription continues, which is what I want as the end consumer. Amazon, I think I pay for Prime yearly, but even when I make one-off purchases, I don't notice that I'm paying. I don't even see it. And I think making sure as a subscription merchant that that's that seamless checkout flow that you've got is really, really crucial to making sure you don't have involuntary churn. You've invested so much in getting these consumers. Don't just let them go when they actually want to stay.
Making it as easy and convenient as possible is going to be critical at a time when consumers are perhaps looking at the number of subscriptions they have, and maybe limiting the number of subscriptions that they're seeing going out of their bank every month. The report really highlighted an interesting one, that the majority of retailers are offering a standard or a one-size-fits-all subscription plan. If we're sticking with the subject of limiting churn and really keeping customers on our retention rather than an acquisition model, Could we see this pie chart changing in the 2025 report? Could we see a more personalised approach to subscriptions growing, Lucy?
Yeah, I think so. And what we're seeing is more and more subscription merchants that have standardized plans at the moment are thinking about personalized plans, or they're testing personalized plans. Because I think, as you said before, the amount of subscription options that there are for people are overwhelming. And a lot of people are looking to consolidate those. I know there are a few companies out there now that you can pay. They'll go through your bank accounts and look at all of the subscriptions you're paying, send them to you as a list, and suggest consolidation options. So it really is, it's something that people are paying to do. And I think personalization is the key to keeping customers happy, and to also allowing them to have different levels of subscription. So allowing them to self-select a plan that works for them, as opposed to having a one-size-fits-all and losing people that might just want a slightly smaller volume of something a month, or might want to skip a month. And I also think personalization is a great way to acquire new subscribers. So I know we talked about this at the event, Katie, but what we're seeing is also, you might be a fully subscription merchant, but allowing one-off purchases where you might not have done before, so that people can trial your service, or they can just be a one-off purchaser. Because I think sometimes being locked into a subscription can feel a bit overwhelming for people. But I think personalization is key. And then I think the sort of, off the back of that, what as a subscription merchant you need to make sure that you have is a flexible tech stack that's going to allow you to offer the personalization that you want, but then also do the analysis. There's kind of no point running testing on personalization, or, if we sell a flower subscription and we're going to add in offering a vase and personalize that to certain people, if you then can't evaluate how that's working and what that does to their lifetime customer value. So I think making sure you have a tech stack that allows the personalization and the flexibility, and then also allows you to access the data so that you can really assess, okay, is this working? Is this what we want to do? Or are we losing people that would be on a standard plan and they're all migrating down to a smaller plan? I think that's really important when you look at personalization.
That complimentary gift idea, if you're flower subscription, offering a vase. If you're pasta subscription, maybe partnering up with a alcohol company that suits pasta, or that sort of idea of surprise and delight in your monthly box was such a big discussion at the event in October. We kind of touched on whether or not subscription firms should be having introductory discounts or even deals to stay. Whilst members of our panel weren't against offers, they were much more inclined to go down that sort of perk route, whether it is a little surprise gift for loyal customers, or giving customers access to exclusive product drops. Even free delivery is a big driver of subscription firms. Lucy, how can retailers balance the cost of those perks or discounts when they're looking at retention or even acquisition?
Yeah, and I think this really comes back to, again, making sure that you are evaluating the data that you've got, and making sure that the perks that you're offering, the free trials, all of that is feeding into your lifetime view of this customer, so that you can evaluate if it's worth it, if it's working, and run really accurate A/B tests against different groups, different perks that you might be offering. Some might be a free trial, some might be a free product, and making sure that it's working. It was interesting in the event, there was quite a chat from different subscription merchants on different things that they'd tried. And it was interesting. There didn't seem to be one hard conclusion of, yes, do this and this will work. We gave a month free and it worked, and here's the outcome. Everyone was trying different things. And I think it's then the quality of data that you have to be able to assess if it's working. Because every subscription, every subscriber is different.
It's so interesting with the subscription economy. There's such a range of retailers. You can get everything from toilet paper to craft gin to sort of, as you've mentioned, beauty products. So it isn't going to be a one solution fits all for all of these businesses, but there is a real sense in discussions we've had today and previously that these businesses are really focusing on a sense of community or it being a club. This webinar today is called The Future of Subscriptions. We don't have any charts that predict what's going to happen in 2025 because it's such a fast changing sector. But Lucy, is there any trends that you see coming down the line for subscription businesses that they really should be starting to prepare for?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main one is the one that we've already talked about, which is the personalization and making sure that you have the flexibility in your setup, in your technical architecture to be able to offer flexible plans, maybe one-off purchases, and to be able to evaluate how that works for your business. We've also sort of touched on consolidation. I think that's definitely one that we're going to see from the consumer side, where people are looking to really consolidate on the number of subscriptions that they have. And I think that goes hand in hand with diversification. So people want less subscriptions, so they want to be able to access more products or services from the ones that they do have. So we talked about that example of the flower merchant who's then going to offer vases, pasta merchant that's then going to sell, I don't know, pots and pans, things like that, allowing collection from their restaurants versus delivery. I think there's so much flexibility that you can add that allows people to have an extra layer of personalization. And I think then the other theme is just making sure that you have the data and you're using the data on your customers in the right way. So I know for our business, we've built a lot of AI and machine learning models that look at things like, even down to, for example, what country you're in, maybe what kind of work you're in, what bank you're in, and when we think you're going to get paid, so that we can collect subscriptions at the optimal time or retry subscriptions at the optimal time. And all of that is done through AI and machine learning. And I think subscription merchants, I'm not saying that they have to build their own AI model, but make sure that you're working with providers in your technical architecture that can allow you to leverage some of that sort of data and that AI looking into that data to make things as seamless as possible.
Lucy, a massive thank you for your input. You've also provided this QR code. So viewers, if you do want to find out more about seamless subscription payments, just scan that QR code. For the full RetailX subscription report, there is a link there, but the easiest way to find it is internetretailing.net. And then there's a lovely research and data tab that has all of our reports. SubscriptionX will return in May for more in-person discussion on this exciting subject. But for now, though, thank you so very much.
Thank you.